What movie is this from? Night the Roxbury. That's right. In case you didn't know. Hey, team, how we going? It is Kaz, and it is the 4th of July weekend. Massive for USA patrons. All the best to you. Your Independence Day, 1776. I know there's a little bit of politics behind. It was actually signed on the 2nd of July, but then it was ratified, I believe, and actually written on the 2nd of August in the format you have it with your Constitution, etc. But all the best to you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Guys and gals, we're going to talk today about a couple of things. We've had a shot over the bow, so to speak, naval gunfire. And I just want to explain to you the follies of trolling. Be careful not to do it, because once you actually start an action, a reaction can occur. I don't believe in calling out trolls by name because they never use their own name anyway. So today is going to be a narrative of just about a comment that came that has the chance to really affect young viewers that watch it and might think, does this validate what my friends and family are saying? And I'm here to say it doesn't. And I don't actually think this dude is a troll. I had a good talk with Lauren, who is always shining. And we both explained that this guy clearly was in the military. The experience didn't pan out. And we're going to bisect that, unpack it, if you will. But before we do that, we're going to say not only happy 4th of July, which was yesterday, 2 days after I joined the Army 29 years ago, but we're also going to say hello to you guys. We've got Austin Khan here. G'day, mate. Will Macca. More people will probably come once they get the notification. That's all right. That's all right. G'day, Harves. How you going? Current ADF member. Hey, how you going, mate? Make sure you don't put your names in there, your real names. He's got up there Starving Marvin by the look of it. Mr. P, how you going? I didn't shave. Billy Goat hair right here. Proof of my manhood, so to speak. We've got 6-3 Yankee. Thanks for your service, giving the trolls time to show up. We don't get almost any. You could put on a video about Labrador puppies and they get more than our channel, which is fantastic. And we've got people like Fugly. We've got people like Lauren. We've got people like Michael Stott who are waiting in slips to take them down as they arrive anyway. Neville Bloody Bartos and Nicole King. Great to have you here. We've also got the wisest young man with Midway who is there. Not talking about the battle. Great to have you here too, mate. We've got GR1D Grid. And we've got Zebgo. Make sure you tick the like and the subscribe button, okay, to let all of the influential people of the world know that we're here. Thomas Townsend. Almost sounds like Simon Townsend's Wonderworld. Brendan O'Neill. Jeffro was the name of the dog, wasn't it? Lauren, just having toasties tonight. That's a big meal for me. That's Sunday's best, so to speak. ABF, or Attack by Fire, as they'd call the acronym within infantry. We've got Brandon O'Neill, sounds like a boogie board. Aaron, the Hitman Dixon, and Koa. What a beautiful young lady she is. And her ability to do gymnastics is off tap. Marched out on Friday, Thomas Townsend. Well done, mate. And we've got some people that are about to join Munyana tomorrow morning. To them, Nutsu Cow, welcome to the family. We've got Giuliano. Sounds like a nice drink or a beautiful pizza. Graduation on Wednesday. Neville. Jeez, it's happening quick with you guys. We're kicking goals everywhere. Almost no bad news coming this way. It's great to be in my position, in my chair. Don't mind this hat. I used to get in so much shit. I stole this off, what's his name? He's a woe one now. Should have lost some weight. You know, my hat, I gave it a little bit more credibility, so I kept it. Hey, Zebgo. Aaron Mills, g'day, Kaz and team. Aaron, did you see that I dedicated the video to you yesterday, one of the push-up videos? Get amongst it, team. Bay Lennon, what's cracking, Kaz? Knuckles. Dave. Hi, Kaz, new Patreon member here. I'll go and check it out. Keep up the amazing work and effort. No problems. And to let you know, today we gave away $100. We gave away $200 today at Centuros, which is another one of our Patreon members. We went in there. I was having a really shit day that I didn't want to talk about. But to make me feel better, we gave the hardest working award of the week of the world away to the young lass that was behind the counter. Lyndon Arkle gave us she's the one. So she got the $100. But the other two workers there were so close behind, we gave them 50 each. Now, you might be thinking, why do you give a tip to people? But this might be the only tip. This might be the only reward in this land of Australia that these people get in their entire life. Now I feel good. They feel great. They're working harder. Lyndon is now the proud manager of that store. People that were watching were invigorated and happy for these youth that were working hard behind the counter to give them the smile on Independence Day and 4th of July. So we put some fireworks in their world, so to speak. Don't mind the pun. I hope it makes us happy. Jared McMichael, good to have you here, Patreon. Spark 55. We're after fireworks today, not just sparks. We've got Bailey Lennon here. We're about to talk, and we've got Tony Sergio here. Thomas Townsend, TT, bam. Nice for your donation there, sir. The first one of the 4th of July. I hope you like the thumbnail too. The boys here in Charlie say g'day. Good to have you here. Charlie Squad was what I used to call my section. So, team, let's get to it. Hey, KK, how you going, mate? Jimmy Smith, good to have you here too. JC, the thin blue line, so to speak. Harvey, hey, Lauren is shining. We're going to talk about the actual message that I'm responding to. You don't need to go and find it. You don't need to call the dude out. We don't attack people on this channel. We don't dox people, etc. But there is some information on here. If you were wondering, if your family was a critic of you wanting to join the military, if you had people and teachers that were not in your corner, that's me in the corner, so to speak, then this could be a damaging message. And I want you to know I'm going to unpack it sentence by sentence for you right now. So hold a little bit back. This is Kaz versus not going to call him a troll. What's the definition for troll? A troll is someone who goes normally onto a live stream and gives incendiary comments that are normally the opposite of the logical narrative that is being presented in order to cause confusion and instability and anger and outrage at their comments, despite the fact that it may not even be true. I take it that this guy probably did serve in the military. I think he did. I think he didn't have a good experience. I think he's done things he's not proud of. I think he's got a long time to live with his decisions. And what he says in this, I do not agree with. But I don't think he's a troll. I think he is someone who is venting, okay? And I wonder if he'll be offended by the fact that there is a reaction to his action. So here we go. Red light, red carpet coming out. JC going, good Lauren, shoulders stuffed up again. No, hope it's not bad news tomorrow. JC, don't reach for those donuts too fast, my man. So here we are. His name is TDoc86, which tells me he's about 34 years old, right? So chances are we're looking at someone, if he was in the military, was too young to go to East Timor. So he probably didn't go to Iraq, probably went to Afghan, right? And with what's happening at the moment, with this attack on the Australian Defence Force, it's not hard for him to pile on top. So maybe he's not, but maybe he did serve. But this is what he's written. I feel like Rachel Maddow here. What a sad effing video. Poor young fools taking this guy's advice in the trenches with Kaz about how important it is to be a pawn in the game. You're not in a pawn team. You don't get in the military, okay, because you have some outcome that you wish to achieve other than going on the great adventure. We don't join the military in the expectation, the hope that we can actually deliver harm on another human being of another continent, another culture, another religion, or another gender. We don't do that. We're not militia. We're not mercenaries. We're soldiers, professional soldiers, the larrikin. Right. We go on. I'm a veteran, kids. Nothing proud to be proud of. To put a machine gun in an elder's face in their own country, done it plenty of times. If you're not proud white, done it plenty of times. If you're not a proud white supremacy wannabe, then the military is not for you. Okay, so he's admitting that he's put his weapon in the face of other people in foreign country, elders, so to speak, and now he's not proud about it. So this sounds to me like a projection, like he is not proud of something he has done. But I also believe that maybe he's a little bit full of shit here, because we don't stick weapons in innocent people's faces. We carry our weapons in a respectful manner. There is times where we carry our weapon slung behind us in a way that we do not put the local people in harm's way mentally or physically, for that matter. Because if something goes wrong, you don't want to do that. You've got to have control of your trigger and also your safety catch. We go in there and we treat people the way they treat us, and we've been asked to be there. It's not a war. We have been asked to be there. When we go overseas, we are respectful. We give, we get. And Australians do a great job at winning the hearts and minds. But if you're there for more than 6 months, it starts to degrade a little bit. Right. Okay. I've never put my weapon in someone else's face, especially an innocent individual. Okay. And that was in a 24-year career. So this guy, if he's done it, why? Did you do it, or are you just saying it? Okay, as far as white supremacy, we've got every colour of the bloody rainbow. We are a pizza supreme in our army. We've got every colour. And it's fantastic. It's a cooking pot of all cultures, religions, etc. No dramas whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with white supremacy. We want you to be there no matter what you look like, so we get a little bit more sleep as well. And maybe, just maybe, you're a better cook than us with our bland taste buds. Otherwise, if you're keen on occupying other countries and thinking there's something proud of, then go for it. Occupying other countries, again, when you go to a country and they have not asked you to come, it is an act of war. We don't do that. When we go to other countries, it's because we've been invited. Even Vietnam, we were invited. Right? World War I, World War II, we were asked, we were begged to come, and we did. We went under the banner of the Commonwealth. Okay, Gallipoli is one of the few places we actually went into with no permission. But that was over 100 years ago. So team, everywhere we go, someone has hit the bat phone and said, please, can someone come and get us out of this shit? The bad guy, okay, the wolf is at the gate. Someone help. No different to someone micro level, 2 doors down from where you live right now. Put that one into perspective. I'll go back to this in a sec. Okay, we've got JC there, who is the thin blue line, the cop. Okay, when you have seconds to spare, he will turn up 5 minutes later, so to speak. But it takes good men, okay, to get up and do something right now when a scream in the night occurs. When you hear something that is untoward 2 doors up, do you close your door, turn your lights off, and look through the blinds? Or are you the one that goes out there, puffs your chest out, walks out, and in a gravelly voice, hey, what the F is going on? That's no different to us going overseas when someone screams for help and we turn up and we say, Australia patch. That's who I am. That's my name, Australia. And I'm wearing my father's name on the right-hand side, surname, the name that I have to look in the mirror every time I shave and say, that's the man that I need to live up to. Dad. That's what I call him. You can call yours Dad too if you wish. So we don't go and just push in people's doors, and be dicks about it. Not always. If you had half a soul, then you'd be a dependent on DVA for the rest of your life, because you'd actually feel guilty for the pain you have dished out. Okay. I'm on a DVA pension, like he just said, and I feel horrible about the things I've been part of. But it's not for something I've done to others. It's something that I couldn't do to help them. I wanted to do more. My friends are on the same pension he talks about, and it's because we couldn't do more. It's not because we hurt and then we feel bad about that. Okay, so that's the opposite of what he's projecting right there. I don't know who he's trying to talk to. If he's trying to talk to young people that want to carry on in the footsteps of the Anzacs, his message is not clear. And it borders on really fake news. Okay. For the love of God, instead of watching morons like the creator, that's this guy, of the video, learn about science or community, or actually make a difference to the village you live in by being creative, not just a dumbass pleb soldier manning the gates. Right. So this guy's clearly only watched one video. He doesn't realize we do the Helping People series. You know, he is throwing some words out there, may have had some drinks that day, and just started typing to 1,000 different people's videos, hurtful things, projecting because he's got too much time on his hands and maybe has alienated himself in the world around him. And what that can bring out is troll tendencies. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person, but what it can do is it can make you counterproductive to your own happiness. Be careful of being that person. Is he a troll? I would say he's not. I'd say he's just projecting. I'd say he has been overseas. I'd say that he wasn't accepted by his call sign. I'd say that he was probably a reject within his military career. And as a result, this poor guy, is now sitting on thought processes, things that happened or things he perceived happened and maybe have now been highlighted, maybe medication, maybe alcohol, and is killing his day by trying to vent. It looks like a lady's hat here, like a bonnet. And so that's what's going on. So I honestly believe that this guy is probably the real deal, went overseas, didn't have a good experience because of maybe his own actions, maybe the fact that he has been living under the trauma of one, not fitting in, and then being in a foreign country, and unable to acquit what he did. And that's why he's got someone like James Collins probably looking after him. James Collins from DVA says, sounds like the author of the message needs help. That's what I thought. Please reach out to get the help you need. And that's exactly what I was thinking too. Big-eyed Six in the Navy. Kaz, what was it like in Rwanda? Sorry to get off topic. It's not off topic. Rwanda is a very weird country. It's like a chess set where most of the white pieces are gone because predominantly Black Lives Matter in that country. It is a beautiful country. It's in the mountains. Almost all the trees were gum trees, which made it so weird because you felt like you were in Australia. It was cold as hell. It was beautiful. It was green. It's completely, what would you call it? It's very condensed. It's rich in smells. It stinks in a lot of areas. Almost no animals. I believe they've killed all their animals out of either cruelty or boredom. I'm not sure which one it was. We saw a monkey that used to hang around for its own safety at the hospital, and then we'd see a monkey in the streets, and on site they'd chase it with rocks and clubs, try to hit it. I think the only reason why the gorillas were alive when we went to the Gorillas in the Mist in Fossey at Madam Carr, I think the only reason the gorillas were alive was because they were worth money. Yeah. Hey, how we going there? We've also got the MVids from the USS Wasp. JC saw a bunch of yous there on Thursday night. She was going off. Slim Jim Bob. G'day, mate. Or he was part of a shitty platoon. Could have been. Slim Jim Bob. Could have been. There's always a really shitty platoon in every battalion. Yeah? There's a pecking order in every single platoon. There's normally two good sections and one section because there's a section commander. And there's always normally one platoon in a company of three platoons. And in the four companies, well, there used to be four companies, of Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta, there was always one company you just didn't want to go to, etc. So, yeah. JJ, there you go, mate. Made it. Lauren, do you have a support network to reach out to, Harvey? Where's Mr. Harvey? Is he okay? He's saying yes. Simon Powell, not too cow. How you going, mate? Good to have you here. Our resident Raffy from Richmond. Good to have you, mate. JC, you was going to yell out JC here. See, we've got a fantastic team here. We do. Even if you come here and you want something answered, the learning that happens here is back and forth from each other, whether it be I read the comments later or whether it's you hear a positivity message across this channel, whether it come from the people in chat, whether it comes from Fugly, whether it comes from JC, whether it comes from Robbie Kent or Mr. Harvey. You're all welcome here. Subscribe to the channel, like it if you do, press the down thumb if you don't, but then have a smart message below that we can feed on. Harvey, if you're all right being in a quiet spot, if not, then call a mate and talk about what's going on, mate. I'm always up for a chat if you need one, mate. That is a nice thing, JC, and that is one of the reasons why I keep coming back. And by the fact that you reached out to Mr. Harvey, that tells me you're the right kind of guy that should be a copper on our streets, lending a hand, even if it is a Kiwi, ex-RAF hand to those in the street. JC, at the different section now, mate, return to my unit next week. I'll meet you for a coffee. Good on you, guys. Good on you. A bit of self-help happening there as well. Cameron Peter, going to have some, be back in a bit. Not sure what that was about. Matty Man, g'day, mate. How you going? It's a good community, and it keeps mature people coming back. We're talking, Matty, about the difference between trolls and those that are reaching out and those starting trouble, with a troll being someone who is using incendiary comments, the opposite of the narration of a live stream in order to create chaos, instability, and anger. Now, I don't believe that I've been bisecting for the last 15 minutes has been a troll. I think that was one of our own brothers who had negative experiences and is trying to divorce himself, atoning for the actions that he'd done through that career. Now, I'll tell you, guys and gals, you are the captain of your ship, so to speak, your actions. I have to atone for what I did and didn't do in areas of my career. As you grow older, and everyone over the age of 30 or 40 can attest to this, that you'll have things that you cringe about for the rest of your life. Do not go into a confession session where you tell people about everything you've ever done wrong. Some of that has to stay inside. Because although you feel good getting it out, get it out to a doctor. Don't try and self-diagnose. Go and see someone about it. Because when you see someone clinically about it, it actually escapes your soul, and sometimes it doesn't come back. Other things are with you until you do something about it, and they can fester, they can change, and they can go into the dream time. They can morph into something a lot bigger than what they were when it actually happened. Simon Powell, just try to pay for my PS5. Lauren knows who the winner is. I still don't know. I still don't know who it is. But apparently animals have assisted in this. Lyndon Arkle, why don't you wear that hat when you get coffee, Kaz? Lyndon is the gentleman, our Patreon member, who we just went and gave the donations to the hardest working young lass in Australia this week of the world. So, Lyndon, I don't know how I'd go with this hat over there. I'd feel like I was back in Nam, I guess. If you need me to slow down from this talking to team, let me know. How old is the channel, Kaz? Finn Russin, mate, it's we'd probably say about 4.5 years, nearly 5 years old. But what happened was we had a catastrophic situation at the end of last year, around September last year, around Melbourne Cup, where our channel got stolen, hacked, wiped, and this is the new channel. It's been going since just last year. We're up to 15,500 subscribers last year, and now we're back to 5.5. I thought everyone had come back. The channel was the same as this last year, but a lot of those people are now in the army, are in the Defence Force, are in police forces. We've got a really high success rate from those that come to this channel and then move on. And it's not because they've had specific questions that have been answered correctly above the red line, what you need to hear, what you won't hear at recruiting. It's because they're passively preparing themselves by being around other like-minded people, that bank, okay, and just taking in the lessons just a little bit at a time, and then they're ready. Harvey, Kaz, my uncle is in Tag East. You know what that is? Yeah, I do. I do. I wonder if I know him. I wonder if I've trained him. Aaron Mills, Stewie Hopley. This vet doesn't realise he has tarnished his reputation on this platform. That's why I'm glad, Stewie, that he never used his real name, mate. I really am. Because if someone has a blowout, I don't want to know their name, but also what I don't want to hear is, say, Aaron Mills, Yannis, Simon has had his time, November Rain, or maybe Peter Caden. Those that are looking at joining to read that. Imagine if you were reaching out for help, and then you got to a channel and you thought, I don't mind the cut of this guy's jib, says the man from the Wasp or from Big Eyed Six. But then he reads a comment and he's got people in his corner saying, you don't want to do that, mate. You don't want to do that. And then people saying terms like baby killers, which is horrible because Australians don't do that. I don't think any professional army takes the lives of babies on operations. I don't think it happens. It is the hardest thing and the worst thing that you can say to someone, I reckon. It's so hurtful and it's so far from the truth. Stephen Senegal, afternoon, mate. G'day, buddy. When I look back through the things that I'm ashamed of, and they're all about inaction, not what I have done to someone. But then I look at what the section, Charlie Squad, 4 platoon, okay, 12 platoon, 11 platoon, okay, what our guys have done for other people in foreign countries when they scream for help, and white Christian soldiers and atheists turned up and said, what's going on, buddy? What can I do to help you? Then I go to myself, well, there's a for and against, isn't there? I'm fairly bloody proud of a lot of the things we've done. Very bloody proud. But unfortunately, we always stick to the things on our soul, the warts, so to speak. The doctor doesn't want to know what's good about you. He wants to know what's bad. And that's the same way our conscience works. Hey, I don't know what happened there. Nicole, what are you doing? That's our biggest donation this channel, I think. $79.99. Not Sue Cow. 4th of July. What did we say that deserved that? That's way too much, my dear. Way too much. We just like you to tick the thumbs up. You've gone crazy. That's the opposite of trolling. Can we please get some thumbs up for the lovely Nicole there? And Nicole, is there anything that you want to say or a question you want to ask? Happy 4th of July, darling. I hope this is not because you're going through pain yourself, and we've hit a chord where you feel like you're somewhere where you're accepted, because you are. This is the Australian channel, but it's for everyone. The passport to get into this place is to say g'day. That's it. You're very welcome, and I hope you're okay. That's a lot. It is a lot of coffee. Look what you've done. It's gone insane. Last time I saw thumbs up like that was when I walked down where through Oxford Street in tight jeans. I'm a little bit flabbergasted there. Good on you, mate. Very nice. I'll hold that for 3 seconds. Not Sue Cow. Thanks, mate. Good on you. If you get an attack of the guilts and think, holy shit, that I meant $7.90, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to refund that for you. I support the ones I admire. Nicole, thank you very much, my friend. With a name like King, that's crazy. That's confusing. Nicole is a king. Not Nicole Queen. JC. Good on you, Nicole. What a legend. It is. Legend of the Fall. Where's T? Really good advice, mate, with the mental health stuff, mate, helping those guys out. Look, I've got to tell you, the scariest thing I've ever done, Wes, the scariest thing I've ever done, and I can tell you a little bit what happened if you want. A few years ago, I used to see a lot of my mates, and they were falling off the perch. They'd go to the doctor and go, bam. Then you don't see him again. You're going, where'd he go? And they're going, oh, you don't ask about it. You won't see them again. I'm going, oh, shit. That's no good. I like that dude, and he owed me some money, so to speak. But I remember I rang up a lovely lady who was the PTSD course coordinator, and she said, you need to come and see me, and I went and saw her, and I think of a name later because I think she saved me life in a lot of ways because my daughter had just been born, and I had an attack of conscience when I looked into my daughter's eyes, and it took me back to Rwanda like that. I'll read you the poem soon, and I'll dedicate that one to Nicole and to my buddies, from Rwanda, because so many of them don't know how to say to their family members, don't know how to say to doctors what's happening inside, but they were there with me. So I wrote that poem in one night. I don't know what to call it exactly. Could you call it Cabeo? Could you call it All Beneath the Blue Flag Flying, where so much bloodshed happened under the United Nations flag, where not a shot from us was fired to assist or help, where our rifles may as well have been guitars because we didn't do anything with them except hold them across our body and say, better you than me, so to speak. But that was the rules of engagement. That was the mandate. Black lives did not matter at that time. They did to us, and they especially do now. But I went and saw this lovely lady, and I had to sit and do the PTSD course. And I remember the clinic in Townsville across from the Mater Hospital, it always feels like it's 40 degrees. It feels like the inside of an armpit in summer in Darwin every day of the year. And it's got written up there, PTSD clinic. And I'm like, I can't go in there. Is there cameras? Is the army watching? I know my job is over as soon as, like a policeman, when they say, I can't hang on, give me a gun, give me a badge. So I was shitting myself, and I went in there and I end up doing a PTSD course, and I don't get upset, team. I pull that weird face when men don't know how to be upset. And I went in there and she dragged all that energy out of me, and I went and did a PTSD course. But after that, it deprogrammed me. And I was like, oh, shit, well, what do I do now? And then I went on from there. I ended up having to do a second PTSD course, this time with police and that as well. And again, there was another level of healing that occurred there because it taught me how to speak about what I've been through. It's not easy to talk about it. It's hard to explain it to yourself, and you never say it in a narration from start to finish like the doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists under supervision will make you come out with that purge that can actually cause a semblance of healing. That it's like getting the finger stuck in the damn wall. There's still pressure there. The times where it goes like that, okay, feeling good, feeling bad. There's times where it goes like that, but sometimes the higher it gets, the more nervous I get because that means the roller coaster is about to go down and we're about to hit a trough. Some people don't remember that there's still an uphill out of that trough, that you will feel good again. But you're normally mixing that with chronic pain as well, whether it be back, whether it be knee, whether it be ankles, whether it be tinnitus, whether it be joints, whether it be arthritis, okay, or whether it's the way you look in the mirror after taking too much medication, because that can affect you permanently as well. Jordan Peterson is back. Jordan Peterson, a couple of days ago, was on an interview of Michaela Peterson, his daughter, and he is a mess. And that was all from diazepam. Yep. Benzodiazepine, an addiction. He tried to come off, had a reaction to it, nearly killed him. And he's one of the best psychiatrists on the planet. So all of us can hit the floor very hard, so to speak. Yeah. Tim, what the hell? I know. Nicole went off the reservation, so to speak. She funded a small hut in a very poor country. It was really good. It was really well appreciated. We'll make sure that goes to a good home, Nicole. Thank you very much. The reason why we're on here today, team, what's it? Kaz, any chance you know Stuart A, aka Sprouty from 2RAR? Like that. Very well, mate. I know him very well. Yeah. He's a good-looking guy. Great rugby league, a great rugby union player too. Good-looking man. The reason why we're on today is because tomorrow through to Thursday, I'll be up in the land of Novocastrians going to see Ma and Pa with my little girl for her school holidays. So I'll be doing my push-ups, using my phone on landscape, not on portrait, as I maintain my 100 a day. You don't need to do 100 a day, team, but we have to start off hard so that you actually create a pattern of movement, so to speak. If you look at the video that we've put out there, because I put out 3 yesterday, 1 to 20 reps cadence, 1 to 40 and 1 to 60, and we've already got the 1 to 100 out there. The 1 to 20, if you can do that and unlock the bronze medal, then you will easily pass the PFA for push-ups. If there's one video that you need from my library, it's the 1 to 20. If you want to join the military, if you want to join the police force. But don't stop there. Make yourself the best version of you. Re-win your life. Become more mobile, not just for the military, but for yourself, for your sex life. Team. Will Macker, kind of random, but what normally gives air support attack helicopters or some sort of plane? Kind of random, but what normally gives air support attack helicopters or some sort of plane? That doesn't even make sense, mate. Kind of normally gives. We will have assets that are available or not available to us, whether it be medical, whether in aviation, whether it be fast attack air, okay, whether that be reinforcements, i.e. a quick reaction force. But all of that will mostly be pushed towards what we have is the call sign that is assigned to the main effort. The main effort being what achieves mission success. The call sign is not the main effort. Okay, but there's call signs that are more attached as the primary movers towards that. But anyone might be able to seize the moment. The one that is most likely to be in a position to achieve mission success will be able to bill it for assets that are owned by the commanding officer or the officer commanding the company, and be able to ask for those through a tactical back brief. And if he gets those, he's got those. Yep. So you're not going to be down the arse end and have a forward observer in your call sign. That'll be in the movement call sign. Yep. Team, I found a channel. Very, very excited. I don't know if any of you have heard about it. And it is Renegade Blasters. Renegade Blasters. And what it is like a water propellant gel weapon system. They're based in Queensland. And they have Minimize, they have the Scar, they have the Steyr, and these weapons you can actually take moving parts off them, etc. So there's one downside. Australia is becoming that hard of a Nancy state, so to speak, that we can't even have these weapons that are classed as toys in New South Wales or Victoria or Tasmania. The three places where I've got a little bit more influence than others. Otherwise, we could have a Minimi back there, a Steyr over here, an M4 or a Scar here, where we could show you position holds of weapons, where we could show you safety precautions, etc. Because that's not giving away your training team. That's just giving you a little bit of a boost. I thought it'd be really good for atmospherics to have the Minimi back there. I watched Demolition Ranch, and that guy has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to weapons. He did a video on the Minimi. They call it the Mike 249. I'm not sure if that's a Golf. Mike 240 Golf is a 7.62. That's a Mag 58 in Australia. It's the workhorse of the Western world. But the Minimi, having that 200 round mag on, all you do is make it 3.15 kilos heavier. The rate of fire He was only firing his. It's like they've got a single shot designator on the US version. Ours is all 2 to 3 bursts. You can fire a single round off. Okay, with trigger manipulation, but there's no need to do it. It's an area weapon as such. We're looking for a beaten zone, a cone of fire. 2 to 3 round bursts, 60 rounds a minute. That's normal rate. 120 rounds a minute is rapid. Weirdos tried to replace it with 50 and 100, not realizing that through their lack of experience and intellect around weapons, the reason why it's 60 and 120 instead of 50 and 100 is because there's 60 seconds in a minute. That should have been picked up like that. But anyway, it was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. We're still going okay here? Is this still going? It seems to be. Just no messages have come up. And no sunshine when she's gone. Someone throw a comment in there so we can see that it's still working. How are we looking? Oops, here we go. Okay, it's still going. Yeah, good stuff. 4th of July team. It's in the USA. It's a massive day. We rang up Ed today to see what they were doing just as the bloody fireworks started. It was fantastic. There's some weird situation happening over there at the moment. We're having Kanye West. Looks like he's now running for the presidency. I don't know what's going on there. We'll see. Lauren, I'm going to see what's going on here. For those that don't know what we're talking about today, it was the veteran versus the troll.
Hello.
Hey, Lauren. Are we still on?
Yeah, the chat's still going. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, there you go. Timmy Doust. It just completely stopped there for a second. Was that because I was gibbering?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Fugly first was complaining that he couldn't see the chat. And so I messaged him on Instagram instead and said, you just need to restart it, thinking nothing. And then you started saying it's disappeared. So I don't know.
Well, Simon Powell just jumped up there. He's got to go. Here we go. Here they all come. Kaz, you do a great job of not only managing your own PTSD, but being so open about it. Was that long ago, that comment?
That was ages ago. Have you got any more?
Yeah, here they come now. They're all coming through.
Down. You're like ages ago.
I wonder what happened. They're all coming up here now.
I don't know.
It's like, Kaz, you've got bloody mail.
Gremlins. Yeah.
Collie's just asked me, what's a sex life? I'm going, that's why it's called, I feel like an idiot here, because Independence Day, I thought, yeah, see, I'm independent. No, dickhead, I'm single. GI Super Jew. That's a fantastic name. Hey, Kaz, what would you suggest for a person who is returning to Kabuka? I keep getting old, play dumb. Is that good advice? What's your cow, for starters? And I love your creative bloody thumbnail there. Mate, when you go back, simply let them know. Yeah, I've been through here before. This is what happened. I'm here to learn. This is me 2.0. No, just there's nothing to hide. You cannot be the grey man if you're not the grey man. Just be yourself, mate. Just be yourself. It's Australia. They want you to have a bloody sense of humour. They want you to have fun. They want you to use your leadership and your mentorship to help others instead of the session commanders having to answer every single question one by one. Ask your mate. It's like a lot of the questions we get on Asked here. People could quite simply have looked that up on Google, Wikipedia, etc. But come on here for the unfiltered version. I get that. But when someone goes, hey, can you give me advice on the U session? You go, I can, but I've also made a whole video on it.
Yeah, exactly. Look through the back catalogue.
Yeah. Yep, here we go. It's on time now, says JC. So
finally caught up. Poor old Fugly still can't see us. We're saying all sorts of stuff about him.
He's asleep probably. He's a Raffy. He's too lazy to lift his head. Mate, for starters, that was amazing, Nicole. We must have said something that really stimulated, her mind with that one there. So Yeah, I'm just saying it's good to be able to strike a nerve with people where they actually feel like you're talking directly to them, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's what you do so well. You're a part of this community, even though you're the one sitting there talking. There's a much bigger in the trenches community, and you are, a part of that. And
Are you calling people fat?
no, I don't think so. Some of us could do with those 100 push-ups a day, but that's, different.
Yeah, it's true. Someone just asked me, what do I think about commandos or SASR? I'd rather be in commandos because I hate being fully tack. I like to know we're the biggest dog on the block. I don't want to go out there and bloody be sneaky peeky. I want to get in helicopters, turn up there with the best sunglasses. I don't have to pay for myself, with clothes and shoulder pads that maybe look bigger than what I am, and then go in there to the sound of thunderstruck rather than
Someone just asked what nutsu cow means.
Who was that?
Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
Starvin Marvin says, Kaz, been through the PTSD situation, still in, and I've gotten the support all I need. Mate, Starvin Marvin, just make sure you stay activated. Make sure you look after your family. Make sure that you still see the doctors. I still see the doctor, the psychiatrist, and the psychologist, and I don't stop seeing them because that also shows my family that despite the fact that I am a dickhead by nature, that I'm doing something about my situation, because people will look at your actions more than your words. Oh, I'm better now. But while you drink a carton of beer, that's not going to cut it.
Exactly. It's not about better or cured with like chronic PTSD and anxiety issues. It's about management, and that's why it's really important to have doctors that you trust. If you don't like one, do go to another, especially with counsellors. Go tell your GP that it's not working for you, and they should help you find a fit, with your doctors. You also need that support network of your family, friends, here in this community, but you really need professional and like social support networks.
Self-diagnosis can be your worst enemy, because it's like, no one understands. You going because you're not saying it in a way we can understand. Exactly. Or your friends might tell you, "No, you're fine, you're good."
Yeah, no, you might have other issues anyway. You can't diagnose yourself. A bad day doesn't equal depression, the same as some PTSD does go away after a while. But if it's chronic, it's a totally different kettle of fish, and there's even different subcategories within the PTSD umbrella, which all require totally different treatments. And you have to see what treatments are available to you. You might be somewhere. There's someone who does the eye movement therapy, or that might not be available to you. So you really need professional guidance, but also you need to manage it yourself in your day-to-day life. Because like you said, drinking too much, other sort of self-destructive habits, that's how PTSD plays out in our life. And you're exactly right by looking at actions of people.
It's one of those things too that even when you do get help, one of the sad tragedies of military, police, PTSD courses is they cost an astronomical amount that if you're in the army, you don't even realize the price of it, and civilians aren't able to go and pay for that because we're looking at 20s.
I'm not even sure they exist in the same form to civilians.
I don't think they do, and I don't think they're as honest.
Therapies like seeing a GP, getting on a mental health plan, getting your 12 visits a year or whatever it is from a therapist. Any extra things than that, if you don't have private health insurance, they're just not going to be available to you in the civilian world, yet you've still got to manage things.
And I don't think they could possibly be as honest as what they are in the military. When we go in there, you can have up to 8 people, police, military, etc. And there is an expectation that you are going to have an immersive experience where you will speak about your trauma in front of the other 7 and in front of the psychologist, psychiatrist, etc. And there is a reason for that. It is Jane Keast was the lovely lady that saved my life, I believe. And the whole point is you need to be able to say it out loud in a narration so you can start to defang the demons in your soul, so to speak. And you say that to your mum and dad. Maybe you can say it to your boss or your friends. You choose who that is.
Exactly. And also, when by saying it out loud, you can sometimes set off a light in your own head, which allows you to recognize your own behaviors as well and helps you get a bit of control back, because you can place the narrative somewhere in the timeline, which is apparently very important.
And you know what? And it gives you a chance for people to also say to you, you know, you might be the victim in this, but you're also the dickhead in this. You know, you've got to be able to have thick skin as well and identify that you can be doing things that aren't helping the situation, and your partner is not there to be your whipping post.
That's right, exactly. And that's how most people actually even end up getting diagnosed, is that they've had all these behavioural issues really in their life that have been really destructive. And it's usually at the point of breaking when someone says, you need to get help.
Yeah.
Some people have lost everything by that stage. So the quicker we can break the stigma, the quicker people can recognise, actually, maybe I am being a dick and maybe I'm making everybody's life a bit miserable sometimes. And the quicker they can go and get actual help, proper treatment, appropriate treatment, the better.
Well, normally what it looks like, and Starvin Marvin has written something there, young soldiers now don't understand what those have served understand. That's called wisdom. They will later, but it takes you a while. It didn't affect me for many, many years until daughter born, fuse was lit, bam, there it went. Minnie Lou was saying difference between mechanized infantry and cavalry. Well, mechanized infantry actually is cavalry. You can have motorized and mechanized is the same sort of thing. You know, and the cavalry unit is an actual unit, an armored unit that assists in the mobility normally of light infantry, those that do not have the tracked vehicles, wheeled vehicles of protected mobility within their call sign, but they also have a tactical employment that they can be used. Now the battalions all have one or the other, mechanized or motorized, being the wheeled vehicles as opposed to tracked vehicles, etc., infantry fighting vehicles. So you're going to be in one or the other unless you go to the 2nd Battalion, which is amphibious, and then they can be still used along with all the other roles. It's you'll find out more about that as you go, but you'll be sleeping in the back for the next few years. What do you think? They kick some people out and keep some in when it comes to PTSD? A lot of it is severity. They've got to look at you and go, am I going to make this guy go get worse?
Exactly. They have a duty of care.
They do have a duty of care.
And it's not them just chucking you on a rubbish pile. It's about your ability to fulfill that role, you know, well.
And that's true. The Army has to, the military, Air Force, Army, Navy, police force, fire brigade, and paramedics, their job is not to look backwards at their wounded. They've got a separate organisation for that is called DVA. Exactly. Their job is to stay tactically there, looking after everyone in the future. Because if they look back, I'll give you an example, Lauren.
Yep.
If someone gets hit beside me by a bullet, I don't quickly run over and start giving them medical aid. The depth section will do that, or the medic behind them. My job is to keep moving forward and to get rid of the threat. Otherwise, all I'm going to do is hand a second target to an area that has had effective fire on it. So,
exactly. No, exactly. It's you've got to stay focused on your particular role.
That's it. And that's the difference between professional, and militia. Militia, you can, as a sniper, for example, you could look at someone and go, twitch, not to kill, and wound him. Then when someone runs over there to try to give him first aid, ding, wound him. Because it takes 10 people to get one person out tactically. But now they've got 2. And then when someone else comes over, bang, now they've got 3.
I remember that scene in Saving Private Ryan, I think it was, because I didn't understand what was going on, and then someone explained that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Same. I was hoping that Mr. Jamie Collins was still in here because I'm sure he knows more about DVA and its role and staying focused on its role more than anyone.
Yeah, and you know what? They can save your life.
Exactly.
They can really save your life. My daughter's food is paid for by DVA, so I can't get angry at them. It's a horrible experience, you know, of fragility before you get it, but it's improving all the time because of guys like Jamie Collins.
Yeah, exactly right. And it does have problems like any system does. It always needs to be audited and changed and tweaked, and that's fair enough. And there are places where DVA could improve, but all in all, where would we be without it?
It's true. I look at people all the time. I have a different world. I live in a different world to almost all of you, a different world. And what I mean is, whereas you're saving up for a house, I can't save up for a house. My superannuation left, and now I get ComSuper and a DVA pension potentially the rest of my life. Okay, so in the back of my mind, it feels weird. It feels like I'm meant to be saving up for something, but that money will still be coming in. And at a time when you're retiring, and money doesn't seem to mean anything to me anymore because it's always being fed, and I'm like a mouse licking the rock that the salt keeps coming out of, or the sugar, and grow that dependency, and you take money for granted. Whereas you're worried about, do I have enough to settle on later? When my super comes, what if I have a relationship fallout and I lose half my super? It's a really weird situation. Basically what I'm saying is I don't have to save up for a rainy day.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it is helpful because one thing that you need when you have chronic anxiety issues and PTSD, the one thing you need is time. Sometimes it's one thing we feel like we don't need, but we do need time because it takes time to manage it. When you've got really bad PTSD, your full-time job is managing it so you don't become a problem to yourself, the greater community, or your family.
It's true. And sadly, it is stress that gives us a good life. It is stress that keeps us moving. It is stress that gets you out of bed. It is stress, guilt, all of these things that make you get up and do the dishes, to clean your house, to clean your car, to put on good clothes. It is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really, really upset at DVA and that also. And look, I understand that. Like we were saying at the start of this video, like you were saying, everybody's experience is different. People just need to try not to get bitter, be grateful for the help that is available, reach out, use it wisely, talk to your doctor, see what else you can get, leave your pride and get help is the main thing. But at the end of the day, my family has been fed by DVA. DVA has provided for the father of my children to receive some great care that would just not be available to him as a civilian at all. So I can't whinge too much. Do I think there's things that need to change? Absolutely, I do. And I'm in there trying to help get things changed. But at the end of the day, I'm very glad that it's there.
Me too. And it does make me feel guilty when I see, like, at the moment, I've got Nicole King here. I know Nicole. Sorry, but DVA is slowly killing me, she's saying, because I didn't deploy along with a lot in my time with the critical stay at home trade. We are treated like civvies who wore a uniform. What she means by that is there is the people that will be on this side of the Southern Hemisphere, so to speak, working from Australia, but completely committed to that mission abroad, that are the lifeline to those that are on the operational deployment on the northern side, or the other side of the ocean, so to speak, doing the job. We depend on these people, yet they are treated in a lot of ways like a second-class citizen because they aren't able to actually answer that question. What was the traumatic event that has smashed the glass or cracked it? And when they're like, well, it's, what do you say that can win those points?
Yeah, And you know, you and I were talking sort of about how DVA can drag veterans over their trauma points over and over again. When we were talking about what maybe could be done better. And I think that is one of the things they could definitely do better, because, you know, that is just not helpful to people. It's one thing to get up in group therapy and talk about it, but it's a whole nother thing to be telling an uncaring system where you don't even get to speak to the same person every time, to have to keep reliving and re-going over what's happened and how it happened, and especially trying to fit it into their terms. That would be very aggravating and possibly add to the problem.
It absolutely. 2 seconds. PK, how do you do that, Lauren? You can type at the same time.
Yeah, I'm multitasking. I'm a
Not too cow. Hi, cousin Lauren. AK, in week 5 now and going well. So you're at that stage now where you're starting to say, maybe I can have solo sex. You know, maybe I need to get rid of that bit of energy, that pent-up stress, so to speak. Week 5 is where it starts to drag on. You go, I just want to get to where it is. But then you realise you've still got basically another 6 months to go. And it's going to get colder and colder and colder. The bear pit, can you hear the bear pit talking to you? Listen. Oh, come on, AK. No one knows what you're going through. Find the turret. Okay, Scotty Healy. Time, maybe, I think if you used key problems that have been dealt with that helped with dealing with PTSD. I'm not sure what that was about.
I think it means time. Yeah, time. Look, it can be your worst enemy. You know what it's like to feel lost being time rich.
Yeah.
When you go from working a career that you're doing, working amazing hours and doing amazing things, you and I have that in common. And then for just to have to halt and have all this spare time, it really plays on your mind. Like, you feel a bit useless. You feel a bit lost. You feel like you're not, you know, providing like you used to. But you can use that time, and you can use that time to gain ground on your PTSD, really get stuck into some therapy, have an actual plan of attack, you know, try lots of different things. So you use that time wisely. Also, get yourself in as good a physical shape as you can. I really think it helps with your mental health, at least in filling that time, not in destructive behaviors like drinking too much and you know, doing things that aren't going to help you, but by actually improving yourself.
An interesting question just came up there, a statement, from Ethan, class 02. Yeah. I've heard of people taking advantage of PTSD in America, getting money from people by pretending to be a veteran. Okay, there's people that pretend to be a veteran, sure. Yeah. But there is also people that are PTSD imposters. Now, I don't judge people when they say they got PTSD. I don't ask them what it's about, because I don't want to be in a position where I might start to look at a totem pole, or are they higher, below me, whatever. I don't judge. Okay. Yeah. And what I can tell you from experience is, even when you have real legitimate crippling PTSD at times, there's also times where you feel like there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And then you can feel worse, because you can feel like an imposter, and you think, am I got anything wrong with me? And then someone asks you a question. Oh, you're smiling. I thought you were a veteran with PTSD. You don't look that bad. So you can be in this continual cycle of denial, regret, regression, progression. It is a really weird feeling. You don't.
It is a cycle. Sorry? That's why the management comes in. It when you've got it and it's never going away, it really is never going away.
And the longer you take to do something about it, the more ingrained it gets, and it actually becomes almost who you are.
Exactly. And also that's when you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your friends, you know, you're going to lose what you love about life if you just ignore it, because it can be one of the most destructive things, and you don't even realize, you don't have the perspective to see that you're doing that to yourself.
And, you know, at the end of the day, some people can actually get jealous and see people and go, I wish I could be on that pension and get stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's like being jealous of someone because of their disability. And I'm just going to say it is a disability. We are disabled people, and we are part of the disabled community in Australia, and that's the greater community, whether you're a veteran or not. PTSD affects everyone. And you said something really important when you said, I don't put it on the totem pole and judge whether theirs is worse or better than mine, because you can't do that. Again, there's so many variables to how people think and their ability to comprehend and deal with things, that you just can't do that. Trauma is trauma. A car accident can lead to trauma. Witnessing the death of a loved one, or even a serious accident or something, can lead to trauma. Sexual assault leads to trauma. Children who are abused. There's little kids walking around with PTSD, and that just breaks my heart, because I know how awful it is to live with, and we've got some comprehension of the world. Imagine walking around with PTSD and being still confused by the world.
Well, Marty has just asked, what's the best way to deal and recover with PTSD? And that would be one of those questions you can't answer. It's get help, but if you get help, that starts an action.
Exactly.
Should a policeman be allowed to go and ask for help and then be able to just go back to his job, and then you put a gun in his hand and put him in complex situations where he has to make insane decisions in the shortest amount of times, with lawyers around him like the Black Crow just waiting for him to do something wrong. The Court of Appeal of media who are going, let's roast this guy.
Exactly. Your first step has to be getting a medical diagnosis, and that can only be done by your GP. Try and find a GP that you trust, that you can go back to. To have a family doctor really makes the difference, because you get a consistency of care, have a plan.
Good and you don't need to have a dog that tells everyone you've got a problem with you.
No, absolutely.
A dog is already qualified. They're man's best friend for a reason. You don't want to define yourself by what is wrong with you. You want to be beneath the radar where no one knows.
Yeah, well, look, you might, like my disability, I actually can't hide it if I tried. But
she used to be a man.
That's not my disability, but I can't hide it if I try, because I'm flaky. I forget words. My brain goes off on tangents, things like that, things that I can't even help, So it would be, when I've even had people say to me, well, what's your disability? And I think, well, what are they expecting to see? What do people expect to see? What's their idea of what someone who has PTSD that they look like?
Yeah. And you'll hear all the time people go, oh yeah, that person took their own life, was how selfish. You're going, that's a difficult thing to say, because when that happens to someone, you've got to remember that they might have hung on for years for you.
Exactly. And it's usually when people feel like a burden is when they will actually carry it out. So I don't think from their perspective it's selfish at all. I think from their perspective they're doing people a favour.
There's an interesting one. G.I. Super Jew was saying his older sister is studying to become a psychologist to help kids in a war zone with PTSD.
That's really good work. People like that will change the world, because there's kids out there like in really terrible places that have had to be child soldiers, that have been put in sex trade, things like that, how they have no way of comprehending that. And we don't want them to grow up and continue that cycle. We need people to interrupt it, and we need people like his sister to do that.
That's it. And that will be a lifelong thing for her. She'll get sucked into that void for sure. She'll never run out of customers, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, bless her.
Jake Italiano, good name, makes me want to eat pizza now. Just finished the silver, which means he's achieved 40 on the cadence push-up video that I put out yesterday.
There you go.
Well done, Jake. Like we were saying earlier, team, if there's any video that you should get onto, that is to make sure you do the 1 to 20. We've even put a beautiful woman on the screen for you.
The thumbnail is superb.
She's a pretty lady.
Yeah. All three of them are beautiful.
Yeah, and there's two veteran classes after that. There's veteran and Praetorian. If you can do cadence push-ups, then you're going to be okay on the day. Remember, as the females, you only need to do 8. As men, you need to do 15. The cadence goes to 20. If you can do 20 cadence push-ups, and you should be able to do it, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So get on that. Don't ask me anymore how to improve my push-ups. I put the videos out there for you now. They're there. Do them. Okay, good. Make yourself the best version of you and that sort of stuff. Let's let people go back to their long weekend, unless we might give you another 5 minutes of answering just your questions there. I think we've done PTSD to death today.
Yeah, I do too.
I think we've spoken about the troll this afternoon, or the projection of someone who was not happy with their military career.
I think that's what's happened. I think he had an experience that made him bitter, and he's lost perspective and logic, and somehow presumes everybody's going to have the same experience.
Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if we could do a video where you just ask people with your fake names up there, write down the cringiest thing that you've done in your life, so that we come up with a list where you can get in the top 10 worst cringes that you haven't been caught for, and we have the board there with your cringe there, and you can come up and let us know, I've got a new one.
That'd be the worst.
As you get older, it is terrible when you're at the lights and you just go, God, did I do that?
Yeah.
See you later, Cone and Peppers. The Rusty Gypsy roving, prospecting on his own, done some nice video on PTSD. He helped me. Isn't it a weird one that when everyone wants to know what the cure is for PTSD, if you make a video on it, it doesn't get any views.
Yeah.
It's a really weird subject.
It affects, like I said, a lot of people. There's a lot of different variations of symptoms and ways it plays out. It's really hard to put into a box and say this works for everyone.
Or it's a present.
Exactly. It's not a present. It's not a present you want. But there's also no way to avoid it in life.
No.
To be honest, it can happen to anyone at any time, doing anything. So it's just something that might happen in your life, whether you're military or not. So I think there is sometimes people get really frightened that they're going to end up broken and thrown on a rubbish pile by DVA. And that is, I want to tell everyone, that is not always the case. And I wouldn't call DVA a rubbish pile. I think PTSD, Kaz has made videos on it. I think they're on the new channel, isn't there? There's got to be one.
Yeah, I think there's a couple.
Yeah, maybe people should go back and check the back catalogue and have a look at your PTSD video and anything else we've said about it before.
Yeah. It's the more you talk about it, it actually does defang, and it can make you feel better because you don't feel like you're so alone.
That's true.
There's nothing worse than feeling alone, because we herd animals. You put a horse in a paddock, and they go nutters when they're by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And it's true, speaking about it, that you have to know yourself. And the better you know yourself when you have PTSD, the better you can manage it, because really your brain is going to lie to you. It's going to say, oh, you need to feel guilty about this, or you're the victim of this, or something, different for every person. And you need to be able to stop that in its tracks in your thoughts. And, that's why sometimes speaking to someone with PTSD can be a little bit frustrating, but you just have to understand that they think a little bit differently. Sometimes our thought process is a little bit slower. And
we're selfish because you've only got enough energy for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to exhaust myself looking after everyone else and look after me last.
Oh, yeah, me too. I meant other people.
Yeah, other people. Can be really
Jason Bridges was saying beautiful sights when you were rucking as a rifleman. It absolutely is, mate. The saddest thing about our military careers, we weren't meant to have cameras with us, and you didn't have room for cameras either. If there was room for a camera, there was room for a salami stick, and So we used to carry that instead.
Yeah.
Whether you're in helicopters, whether you're flying over waters, whether you're beside a waterfall that a human hasn't been near in 1,000 years, whether it be in places like Romania across Egypt, where Australians and New Zealanders fought the Turk, whether it be in just candid moments of people from other cultures that are going about their day, whether it be the gorillas, whether it be just...
I've heard the landscapes in East Timor are breathtaking at times.
Absolutely stunning. They're stunning. But there's normally someone from, transport, when you're on the road on the way back to Dili and driving dangerously and you're trying to hang on with your butt pubes. But there's a lot of, in Timor, there's a lot of waters that aren't fished properly. So there's plentiful fish in the water, and there must be like the continental shelf very close to the shore, because at times you would see a whale, 50 meters off the shore. And there was another time where I remember I was stamping my feet like a child to the boss, going, "Why can't we go for a swim? This is bullshit," And then I was doing my picket, and this Goliath beast, a leviathan of the sea, went in the water about 70 meters out, and I went, "What the hell was that?"
What was it?
I'll never know. But I remember I didn't want to go for a swim for the rest of the trip.
I heard about an insulting gecko that made a sound like it was telling you to.
Yeah, the gecko, the F-off gecko, Yep. There was racist dogs there. There was monkeys. There was a monkey that used to come over, and you're going, well, there could be rabies, but you know what? I'm a soldier, right? And
you've been inoculated against everything.
Well, the monkey would piss on one person, but then be friends with the other. You'd be on the gun pit. There's a machine gun between yous, and the monkey'd come over, let me pat it, and then my number two would be there, and it'd get on him and go Harvey Weinstein all over him.
Oh my gosh!
And then come back here for a pat. But then the next time I'm going, see, it likes me, it didn't like you. Then all of a sudden, it's trying to get my head pregnant, and you're going, "Stop it! Get off, you little dirty little mongrel!"
Those cheeky monkeys and their hijinks,
little bastards. Kane, g'day, mate. How you going? Kane, you're all over the symbology. He's got the YouTube play button. He's got what looks like sweaty, bloody greased up hands. Well done. Jason Bridges has to this in the romance and adventure of infantry. Even Tully is beautiful when you have moments to actually take in the rays coming through that gorgeous canopy. It's amazing.
Like the set from King Kong, it's just amazing up there in general.
You're really keeping that monkey theme. King Kong, the Harvey Weinstein monkey.
I was thinking, the movie had all the beauty. It looked like Tully to me, that area. But you had a different perspective of it than me.
I love Tully.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. John Paul hates Tully because he spent so long there.
Yeah. Well, he shouldn't have got lost. Fugly the Kraken. Ashton. Hey, Kaz, I'm going to go for assessment day on Tuesday. Any final advice? Yeah, mate. It's you're going for army officer role. Man, g'day, Tykes. How you going, mate? Make sure you subscribe if this is your first time here. It's a forever channel. It's here for you forever. For an army officer role, I would, when you go in there, is know why you want to be an officer instead of an OR. It makes a difference, because otherwise they might think you've got a personality disorder and you just like being ahead of you, being in charge. Can you take criticism? What are some negative points, some negative traits about yourself? Who's your favorite general? What do you think leadership means? Do you understand the relationship? Of course you can't, because you're not there yet. They expect a little bit too much out of you. They might ask, what do you think an officer does? And the wrong answer, they're going to tell you is paperwork, which is true, but it's not what it should be. We should have clerical people doing a lot of that. You should be out there, or at least have other officers with you going out being tested on things, on how to lead, how to project manage, how to make mistakes and get rebuilt, so that when one day you're in a foreign country, a foreign threat, you're able to do it calmly and be able to say, in my playbook of life of wisdom, along with the platoon sergeants, this is my plan of attack. And I'm going to back that up with Bravo and back it up with the Charlie, your third course of action, which is less predictable. Because the amateur leader, when the time is compressed, what they'll do is they'll come up with the most obvious way of skinning the cat. And if it's obvious from our point of view, then it's probably obvious way that they've defended it. So you need to be able to look at it and go, well, which is the most predictable? What could I do to make it change up a little bit, which is unpredictable, i.e. Hannibal coming through the Alps? What can I do about that? And let's do that instead. Look at the Japanese. How do you take over islands quickly? Don't worry about armoured vehicles. Get bicycles. Yeah. They took ground quicker than anyone. Justin Bridges, I heard I'll be going crazy. Cadence in my dildo legs competing with the long strides of people. Pack marching that's a mental anguish game in itself. Guys and gals, let's get out of here because it's dinner time for you guys on the 4th of July weekend.
So I've got to go make some food for my hordes will be getting upset.
Can you make some humble pie from me?
I make great pies.
I love pie. I'm going to go and pack the car for the Diddy Mow to Newcastle tomorrow. Guys and gals, I may not be on here for another 3 days, but when I come back, I'll be on a Thursday.
Yeah, make sure you say good day to your folks.
I will. Yep, I will. And we're going to have Chinese food when we get up there the first night. But naturally, daughter, taste bud, immature, doesn't like it, 8 years old, get with the system.
What about those like fried sweet and sour chicken things? They're pretty good for kids.
Doesn't eat them. If it's red, it must be chili. Yeah. All right, team. See you later. 4th of July weekend, Independence Day, which doesn't mean Singles Day. Have a good time, USA. Have a good time, Australia. Both our countries are worth fighting for. Trolls, don't be one because you do not know what you're starting when you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys and gals, take it easy. Love your families. Say good day to your mums from Kaz. And I hope tomorrow your coffee tastes bonza. See you later.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa. Notsu cow. See you later, Kane. Bye-bye, team. This is your last chance to subscribe before I ask you again. See ya. Wet dreams.